There is something that precedes the word, which imposes itself even before the touch or look, is the invisible aura of man who practices seminal retention. Your energy is not explained in common logic. She feels. When a man decides to contain himself, deny the flesh the easy pleasure, and conserve the creative power, something changes in his vibrational field. He starts carrying an invisible weight, not a burden, but of presence. This weight comes before him, filling the space, imposing respect and curiosity. Women, although they do not know how to appoint what they feel, are the first to capture this change. The female body, by nature sensitive to the subtle languages of life, responds to this new density with instinctive attention, and it all starts with silence. This man doesn't have to talk much. Your silence becomes language. He does not hide, but also does not offer himself. His presence has his own sound, the sound of something that is contained and observed. The vibrational field around a retainer is dense as mist before the storm. It is not aggressive, but it is firm. It does not seduce, but attracts. It does not promise, but challenges. Women feel this difference without understanding its origin. They perceive the impact, but they find no logical explanation. This is because the female body has archaic senses refined by millennia of intuition, which recognize not what man says, but what he contains. And in the man who retains, there is a closed portal, and every closed portal attracts. It is in this mystery that the ancestral archetype is revealed. Seminal retention, reactive old codes in the male body, evoking images and presence of forgotten times. He becomes heir to an unpaid, but felt lineage, the lineage of those who dominated their passions to serve something larger. And this memory arouses in women's eyes a kind of silent reverence. They do not understand why, but they feel that there is something old and strong in this man, as if he were not just living, but keeping an old secret that cannot be touched. And it is precisely this secret that makes your presence impossible to ignore. Do you feel that you are wasting your energy, living in automatic, without direction, without strength, without purpose? You wake up tired. You are looking forward to you. You lost your eyes in your eyes, and feel deep down that something very powerful inside you was silenced. I am Laert, specialist in seminal retention and male spiritual development, and I am here to show you a path that few know, but which transforms everything. Science already proves seminal retention raises testosterone, improves focus, memory, mental clarity. But it doesn't stop there. In the spiritual plane, she activates your ancestral strength, clean your energy field, awaken your mission. This is not just about sex. It is about redeeming your power, your fire, your identity. Here on the Gods of Semen channel, you will find out why control of your sexual energy is the key to mastering your mind, your body, your reality. If you feel it has been domesticated by easy pleasures, cheap distractions and desires that weaken you, so this channel is your turn. Here you will understand how to break free and how to become the man you were born to be. Stay with me until the end, because in this video, I will deliver you revelations that can turn the key to your life. And if you feel that this call is for you, subscribe to the channel now, activate the bell of notifications, and is part of this brotherhood of men who are awakening to a new level of consciousness, discipline, and power. You are not alone. You are surrounded by other warriors. Welcome to Gods of Semen. A man's body in retention not only changes his spiritual vibration, he also alters his biochemistry, his invisible signature. With each full cycle of 30, 60, and 90 days, something silent and powerful internally recalibrates. Its hormone levels stabilize, testosterone finds a more refined flow, and pheromones, subtle chemicals released by the body, begin to carry a new frequency. These invisible particles, emitted through sweat, skin, and even breathing, convey an ancestral message. This man has life within himself. And it is this message that the female body captures first. Female smell, even without conscious intention, was shaped to detect vitality. No superficial vitality of trained muscles or expensive perfumes, but one that is born of blood, breathing, and internal integrity. When a woman approaches a man who practices retention, her body feels something different. There is a smell, yes, but not of synthetic fragrance. It is the smell of focus, discipline, and sexual power that refuses to be wasted. This smell cannot be bought. It cannot be replicated. It is the chemical sign of self, overshop. And more than attraction, it causes curiosity. Her body asks, "Why doesn't this man look at me like the others? Why does your presence rest at me while calming me down?" There is a kind of invisible signature in the man who retains his essence. Your skin shines more clearly. Your presence remains in the air after it leaves. She may not understand that this is retention, but her body understands perfectly. This man does not surrender to any impulse, and therefore is dangerous. He is the kind of man who holds an inner throne, and this, for the feminine unconscious, is an irresistible call. Not to conquer it, but to test it. To decipher what, after all, makes it so different. There is a kind of look that is not learned. He is not trained in mirrors or rehearsed in seduction courses. It is the look of the man who carries accumulated energy within himself, and that, therefore, need not prove anything. When a man practices seminal retention, his eyes gain a depth that challenges explanations. It is not just intensity, it is presence. A look that crosses, which sees beyond, that digs the invisible in the other. Women feel this look like a subtle blade. It plays without touching, naked without invading, and leaves a trail of silence in the space between the bodies. But it's not just the eyes that change. Retention transforms the face as a silent sculptor. The skin stands, the strokes define with more symmetry, and there is a vitality that pulsates under the surface like a contained flame. The retainer's face carries the brightness of those in a constant vigil. The accumulated tensions do not deform, refine. The jaw is established, the facial posture stabilizes, and the most enigmatic of all, the so-called glow. A fine but undeniable brightness that seems to come from within. It is not sweat, it is not oil. It is a type of energy that does not translate into words, but manifests itself in the pores like an invisible halo. This irradiation does not come from the ego. It comes from the soul that is no longer at war with the body. The man who retains is not looking for approval. And that is precisely why your face becomes unforgettable. There is something in it that seems complete. And this completeness, this energetic silence in the eyes, this firm contour on the face, this tense piece under the skin, causes a paradox in the feminine. She wants to approach, but fears being read. Because the retainer does not look like who wants, but as who sees. And being real viewed for many women is scarier than being touched. Seminal retention transforms man's body into a temple, into a wakefulness, not for ostentation, but as a reflection of a silent war that happens within it. Each muscle carries the memory of tamed desire. Each gesture reveals a battle overdue against the easy impulse. This is not rigidity, but containment. The body of a retainer is not looking for immediate pleasure, but in alignment with an invisible mission. His posture speaks before he says anything. Firm, centered, without oscillation. There is a kind of silent order on your shoulders, in your spine, on your floor. This man walks like whoever watches. Not just the external world, but the thoughts themselves. Your eyes move accurately, not anxiety. His breathing is slow, deep, controlled, like the one who has gone through the fire of desire and left the other side with more dominion than hunger. Women capture this with a kind of silent astonishment. They don't know exactly what they are seeing, but they feel they are not facing anybody. They are facing a field, a force field, of decision, of sacrifice. This silent authority is not imposed with volume or arrogance. It manifests itself in the absence of lack. A retainer is not seeking attention, nor disputing territory. He is just. And this being is so absolute, so dense, that it disarms any attempt to manipulate. Your body emanates a presence that says, I belong to something bigger than you can understand now. And at that moment, his body becomes not an invitation, but a statement. An invisible line that says, you only cross here if you're ready for truth. And few are because the retainer's body is, above all, a living memory that there are still men who do not bend. When a man walks with retention in his blood, he does not need to make noise to cause movement. He only exists, and his simple existence begins to reorder emotions around him. In women, this impact is immediate and confusing. It appears as an ambiguous feeling, a mixture of fear and fascination. Something inside them recognizes that he is not available, and this recognition arouses an ancestral force, the archetype of the Casto warrior, a man who does not surrender for any beauty, who does not bow to impulses, who does not exchange power for superficial affection. This man cannot be manipulated, and therefore scares. But it also delights. Are you ready to break the invisible shackles that have limited your energy, mind, and soul? I present to you Alchemy of the Gods, my new book that brings together decades of deep spiritual knowledge in a single transforming work. In this book, you will dive into Kundalini's mysteries, understand the hidden power of crystalline oil, and access real ways of spiritual liberation that few masters dare to reveal. Each page has been written to guide you in the awakening of a new state of consciousness, where your vital energy not only expands, but aligns with your highest mission. No matter where you are, the book is available in physical, digital, and audiobook format, so you can absorb this sacred knowledge at your pace, with full accessibility. The transformation begins with a step. Click on the description link or in the fixed comment and take this step now. This is the call that your soul expected. But first of all, I have a novelty that you didn't expect. I just launched the exclusive audiobook SEMEN Retention Success Path, with more than 2 intense hours of revealing content about the 6 essential pillars of seminal retention. This material is straightforward, deep, and without filters. Here you will find out how to unlock your vital energy, restore your spiritual focus, and activate a real, lasting personal growth process. It is like having an internal guide that accompanies you daily in your discipline, your faith, and your reconstruction as a man. What's more, when purchasing audiobook, you get 30% off the ebook, The Art of Semen Retention for Men, a practical manual with 20 pages of advanced techniques for spiritual evolution, emotional balance, and background with your deepest purpose. If you feel that this movement is for you, now become a member of the channel. Members receive early access to content, priority responses in the comments, and other exclusive advantages of YouTube. In addition to receiving all this, you will be helping to keep this channel alive, strong, and increasingly complete to guide you on this journey of male ascension. Click the link, choose your path, and wake up. You are here for a reason, and this moment is your point to come faced with such energy, the female body. The instantly acts test mechanisms. They are subtle, almost imperceptible. A provocative comment, an attempt at disguised seduction, a psychological game hidden in gestures. It's not malice, it's ancestry. The feminine needs to verify if the strength it feels is real or just appearance. She tests not out of wickedness, but out of archetypal need. Confirm if he really is what it seems to be. And the man who keeps his presence unshakable during these tests sends a silent message. I did not come to approve by you. I came to fulfill a call. This call causes in it a spiritual duality. On the one hand, the attraction, a visceral magnetism, almost inexplicable. On the other hand, the challenge, a sense of discomfort, as if before a mirror that reveals more than I would like to see. the retainer unknowingly becomes a catalyst for internal processes in women. Its clean energy, not contaminated by the unbridled search for validation, requires the feminine to reposition itself. And this replacement sometimes comes as a removal, other times as sudden and intense approach, but never with indifference. Because his presence, even in silence, demands something from her that the modern world no longer requires: authenticity. In the female collective unconscious, there is an image that rarely manifests itself in reality: the sealed man. He is the unattainable, not because he hides, but because he has already found it. He does not reject the feminine, but also does not seek him as salvation. Its existence is a statement of spiritual self-sufficiency. And this image, when incarnated by a royal man, awakens something deep in the woman's psyche. A forgotten memory that not every man bends, not every man surrenders, not every man can be possessed. This is the retainer's archetype, a symbol of strength that inspires, but also bothers. This discomfort arises even more evident when compared to the needy man, the one who lost his sovereignty to the hunger of desire. The contrast is brutal. On the one hand, the man who empties himself to please, who seeks validation in every female smile, who fears silence and begging attention. On the other, the sealed man, who emanates an inner yes even when he says no, who does not need to prove his value because he is anchored in his mission. And it is precisely this contrast that makes the woman look at herself and question, why does this man tease me so much without doing anything? The more respect she feels, the stronger the unconscious impulse of testing it will be. This is because, deep down, genuine respect arouses the desire for approach, but also the fear of its own delivery. The woman intuitively knows that such a man does not accept halves, that he sees with the eyes of the soul, which detects games and does not tolerate them. So she tests, because you want to make sure your admiration is not illusion. The retainer, when he remains unshakable in the face of these tests, solidifies this archetype within it. And right, now, something rare happens. She doesn't just want him as a partner, she recognizes him as a mirror that does not reflect the body, but the soul. There is something enigmatic in man who does not need the female presence to feel complete. This mystery is not born of indifference, but from containment. When a man practices seminal retention, he removes the most predictable element from social game: lack. And this absence is perceived with an almost disturbing intensity. Women feel, albeit unconsciously, when a man is not looking for anything of them. It does not seek approval, does not seek pleasure, does not seek conquest. He is simply whole, aligned, full of yourself, not ego, but in spirit. This absence of necessity creates an inverted magnetic field. Instead of running after, it becomes the center. Its energy, now contained, begins to radiate vibrational rule over one's own body. It is the type of control that does not need to be displayed, because it already shapes the reality around. Your voice is firm but not authoritarian. Your gestures are slow but never hesitant. His gaze watches without asking, examines without invading. And this posture sends an invisible signal. I didn't come to consume, I came to keep it. This guard is perceived as power. And the most intriguing thing is that in this man, there is no sexual hurry. There is no anxiety for touch, for validation of desire. This mystery, why it does not move towards the female body, gradually transforms into the key of attraction. Because mystery is not a technique. It is a natural consequence of a soul that no longer negotiates its energy. He is not inaccessible per game. It is inaccessible because it has become thin. Such a man is not missing. He is overly. And this excess does not fit the common molds of seduction. It breaks the script, and by breaking it, he reveals a naked truth. The true male power does not seduce, he orders. Have you ever wondered why, even trying everything, you still feel weak, lost, and without direction? Perhaps what is missing is not motivation, but preserved vital energy. As long as you continue to deliver your power to vices and distractions, nothing will really change. But from the moment you take control of your essence, all around it begins to align yourself. The transformation does not start in the outside world. It starts within you, with the decision not to surrender easier. If this made sense to you, leave the like, subscribe to the channel, and watch the next recommended video. This is just the beginning of your journey.